Mile High Huddle's first 7-round mock draft of the 2020 offseason is out, courtesy of Eric Trickle. The Denver Broncos are expected to hold 12 picks once the NFL awards the team with what are expected to be 3 compensatory selections, 1 5th-rounder and 2 7th-rounders. Armed to the teeth with draft capital, the Broncos will have the chance to really put the finishing touches on John Elway's rebuild. This team has a quarterback, a dynamic number 1 receiver, a playmaking running back, and an explosive tight end. What the Broncos are lacking is depth along the offensive line and a bona fide number 2 receiver who can take pressure off of Courtland Sutton while complementing the offense in ways he doesn't. Defensively, the Broncos are poised to lose as many as 3 defensive linemen and need to restock the cupboards in the secondary with both Chris Harris Jr. and Justin Simmons poised to hit unrestricted free agency. Simmons is expected to be franchise tagged barring an extension, but even if he's re-signed, Will Parks is also hitting the market. So with all that in mind, how did our first 7-round mock shake out? In round 1, the Broncos selected a player many in the Rocky Mountains are familiar with in dynamic CU wideout Laviska Shenault. Here's what Trickle said about Shenault. Quote, Shenault is a bigger receiver, and many expect him to run a sub-4.4 40-yard dash, which at his size would be insane. He offers up a lot of versatility, which the Broncos can really use within their offense. Wide receiver screens would really be opened up with Shenault as the receiver. Close quote. Sutton gets his complimentary receiver while Drew Lock gets another explosive toy to play with. In round 2, the Broncos selected TCU offensive tackle Lucas Niang. With Juwan James' injury history being what it is and Garrett Bowles perhaps entering a contract year if the Broncos don't pick up his 5th-year option, the team really needs to begin the development of a backup plan, if not a successor to one of these incumbent tackles. Here's what Trickle said about Niang. Quote, Niang has great size and really good length. Combined with his athleticism, it leads to a lot of wins. There is also a decent amount of power with Niang. With how Bowles ended the season, Niang would be a pick to provide depth while being developed, as his technique does need work to take over a starting spot in 2021. That is, unless an injury thrusts him into a starting role sooner. Close quote. So with the team's first 2 picks, the Broncos bolstered the offense. In round 3, the Broncos took Texas A&M defensive lineman Justin Madubuike. The Broncos do have 2 young D linemen with upside in Draymond Jones and DeMarcus Walker, but this is a unit that needs reinforcements considering the veterans hitting the market this spring. Here's what Trickle said about Madubuike. Quote, Madubuike is a super athletic gap penetrator that fits into the Broncos scheme perfectly. He will need to work on his technique, but D-line coach Bill Kollar should be able to work wonders with him. All of Madubuike's concerns are fixable, but his athleticism and quickness aren't teachable. Close quote. With their second pick in round 3, the Broncos kept it on the defensive side of the ball, taking Utah trenchman Loki Fotu. Here's what Trickle said. Quote, Fotu has a great first step, great size, and solid power to shoot gaps and disrupt plays behind the line of scrimmage. For the NFL, he must get his pad level lower more consistently, though. Fotu was also a team captain for the Utes. Close quote. With their third and final pick in round 3, the Broncos kept it on defense, selecting Minnesota's athletic DB, Antoine Winfield Jr. Here's what Trickle said. Quote, Winfield is a chess piece defensive back that can eventually replace Kareem Jackson, who's going to be 32 when the draft comes around. Denver could be looking at needing a number 3 safety that can drop down and cover the slot, with Parks being a free agent. Winfield would be such a tremendous fit in Vic Fangio's scheme. He has a good head on his shoulders and can be a leader on defense. Close quote. The Broncos would go on to make 7 more selections in MHH's first mock draft of 2020. Be sure to check out the article for analysis on each pick. With a mock draft haul like this, the Broncos added playmaking ability on offense as well as a long-term tackle while bolstering the defensive line and secondary. But how would you feel if the Broncos draft haul shakes out like this? Sound off in the comment section below. For Eric Trickle and Mile High Huddle, I'm Chad Jensen.